to the RunRX Podcast, where we talk about all things running. As many runners know, it's 90% mental. So join Coach Valerie and Coach Caroline as we go through the mental side of running.
Welcome back to the RunRX Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Caroline, and I'm here with Coach Valerie. Coach Valerie, I've been laughing so much lately because we're going through a phase right now in our group with our members, where it's almost about checking the box. We got people that are like, okay, I did the post for 3 days. Now what? Okay, I did my fall. I worked on it, Val. I did 3 falls today. I did 3 falls yesterday. I'm ready to go. Now what? So there's this feeling that I've done the thing. Now what? Right. So help me help them understand the process and the journey that they really need to start thinking about.
Right. And it, guys, it really is. It's almost a meme, right? Everything's a journey lately.
Yeah. It is a meme.
But there's a reality to that, and there's a reason behind it, right? Because nothing's easy, and I think we all know that, especially running. And here's the challenge. So to me, the best part of teaching running all these years has been how it stays the same. Yeah. It's pose, fall, pull. Then that's never going to change. And we hear this all the time, like, you're never done because you're always going to be able to improve. Like, for the life of your practice, for the life of your run, forever, you'll get better. And the reality is that most of us need to work on our standing posture every day.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the running pose, it's not that week 1, you're going to learn the running pose in week 1. You're going to improve upon your running pose for the rest of your life. And what we do to make life a lot easier for you is we actually write out the daily practice, including your forever warm-up. And what I mean by that is the fun of what's to come is what I tell people. So first everybody goes through, especially week 1 or 2, very mechanically. They're like, okay, I stood in pose, check. Okay, I did my 10 wall falls, check. Valerie, I did my pulls, check. And then they send in their check-in and we see it. So yes, check. However, it's just, again, it's the difference of going through the motions than actually learning a movement and being able to apply the movement. Our goal for you is for your pull to be a natural response in your run. It's really cool, but in order to get there, you have to first really develop your pull and your ability to pull. And there's muscle elasticity. So there's a lot to the journey. And so the fun part is when we take you through, and we are okay with you going through these things. Like we giggle because we know where you are in your journey, right, Caroline? Like we can tell,
100%.
Here they are in week 3 and they're thinking, okay, what's coming next? And I think the more you can wrap your mind around what comes next is I challenge your ability to pose, fall, and pull is what I do. And the reason I say that is because falling, guys, is a lifetime. It's a relationship. It's a commitment. Gravity is always here. And it's amazing. You've not used it in how you could use it yet in running. And to know that like what's to come is a forever skill that I still practice and love. Like running for me, every time I run, I get to go practice my fall. And so the fun part is we know that. So the first few weeks with the immersion, we're helping you with the mechanical, with the mindset, with getting you to the feel. So what happens is when you get past the initial, I call it the weirdness, like really putting yourself through these new mechanical movements, then we have to take you in through, okay, now you understand the movement. The next stage is to actually continue practicing the movement. And guess what the next stage is? To continue practicing the movement.
Well, and I want to throw in there is that's also assuming that you never have a vacation in your life. You never have a project that takes you out of your rhythm. You never going to get sick and actually can't run for a period of time, or weather changes, or a family member or a kid gets sick. Life will cause hiccups and ups and downs. So if something kicks you off your track and you have to get back on, then that's the beauty of the membership, is that you will still have like the immersion that we talked about in last week's episode, where you can go back through the immersion and start over again. But now you're starting over again at a different evolution in your journey. And I mentioned this to somebody recently because they'd taken a little bit of a break because of some things that were going on personally. They came back in and they said, should I go back and start over? And I said, it's not going back. You're just learning something new. I've been with Valerie, it's going to be almost 4 years. And every time she teaches something, I learn. She's teaching the same post-fall pull, but I'm hearing it differently. Now, is it maybe she's saying it differently because she's at a different audience, but maybe I just couldn't understand and connect with what she was saying because of where I was in my journey. So it's really about, you just ebb and flow. And sometimes it's gonna be quick. Okay, well, I got that really fast this time because I've done it a few times and I know what I'm looking for and I can feel it faster now, so I can move on to the next level. Maybe it's the strength where before, like I've mentioned on previous episodes, I still do my burpees with the box. Well, I would love to be able to say, okay, I'm not using the box anymore for my burpees, or I'm not using the band to help me with my push-ups. That's how you evolve. Running is the same way. It can be, maybe I'm a little bit faster. Maybe my longer runs are longer, but they're not at the speed I want. But my shorter runs, because I'm able to feel the fall more, are much faster than I ever thought I could do. So there's ways that you can evolve in your running and in your workouts. And as we said in the previous episode, if you're biking and you're swimming and all your sports, where you can continue to on the journey.
Well, but I think that the challenge, I'm just going to throw this in,
Yep.
is that the kind of where I was heading was there's no end to your practice. And you can't, I don't care. This is the challenge I have for everyone. You have not mastered pose, you have not mastered fall, and you have not mastered pull. There's no going back. There's only movement forward. And so what happens is that you're correct and say, I love that. Like every time I come back in, I hear something different. And it's because you were ready to hear it. And again, maybe it's because you took the time to come back in and whatnot. But what I need for people to understand is that when you go through the immersion, you're opening your mind. You're learning a mechanical movement and you're still kind of stuck in your old movement patterns. It's okay. We're helping you with that. But something to keep in mind is that if I'm about to go running, if I'm about to go swimming, if I'm about to go walking, whatever your body's about to go do, the warm-up itself is really necessary for the rest of your training life. So if for the ever and ever, you keep in the elements of what running is, you will forever improve at running. And so I tell people, like, it's not that there's a magic drill or there's right? But there has to be the respect of, I am preparing myself to run. So I am going to do at least a running warm-up. And that's what we provide you with. We don't ever say, just go out and free fall and see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
do a couple pulls, do a couple poses, and go.
Yeah, right. We're very specific in helping you create a really nice structured warm-up. So that way I challenge you is by adding a very small section to the very end. And so when people say to me, now what? I always think, well, what do you mean now what? It's there. So that's the fun part for you guys to know, is that instead of feeling I'm behind or missing something, if you keep the simplicity of even the warm-up when you're busy, like Caroline said, it's amazing how you'll be able to come back and be ready to do your movement.
So we hope you guys have enjoyed the podcast. You'll give us a 5-star review, share it with your friends. And if you aren't in the membership, we hope you'll join us. Check out when the next immersion will start. And we would love to see you in the membership. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us on the RunRX Podcast. If you'd like to know more, join us at www.runrx.fit. And if you have additional questions that you'd like answered on the podcast, email us at support@runrx.fit.